Welcome to the Drifted World, and let your adventure begin. Grab your compass, ready your ship, and hoist the sails because Scallywagathon is back, and it's better than ever, it's braver than ever, and it's bigger than ever. I'll maybe went a little overboard, but Scallywagathon hasn't happened in about 5 years, and so many of you asked me time and time again, Allie, please let's do Scallywagathon again. And I said, yeah, but this time I said, I'm gonna go batshit crazy on it. And that's what I did. Is this announcement video coming at the last minute? Yes. But sometimes that is when adventure hits the most. Sometimes that's just when adventure hits. End stop, period. That's it. That's a sentence. Anyway, this is no ordinary reading challenge. I mean, it kind of is at the heart of it. It's just, you'll see. You get your prompts by charting a course through the Drifted World. This is a sea-bound realm of magic and myth and mischief. Your only aim? To reach the lost city and claim it as your own. This year's voyage will feature totally new lore that is connected to every stop that you visit. Each location has a unique story that also goes along with it besides the lore, and a unique reading prompt that is related to your journey. You can choose how involved you want to be with this readathon with 3 different ways to participate, which I'll talk about in a moment. This journey is a month long. It is for the month of July, and your goal is to read at least 5 prompts, but that's totally up to you. It's totally for fun. If you have a question about whether or not it works, it works. I'm not gonna come and hang you on the gallows. I'm not gonna do that. It's for fun. About how you can set sail. Go to scallywagathon.com if you want all the information. That is where it all is, as well as with some examples. That is where the lore is. That is where the story is to follow. So there is where all the information you need is going to be. And the website stays up, so like, there really is no official deadline. It will still be there. If you can't get to it this month or you can't finish this month, it will still be there. There are 3 different ways to get your reading prompts this year. There's the traditional way, which is a mapped way. There is a treasure hunt, which is kind of a free-for-all. And then there's also a fated destinations, which includes the use of dice. I'll get to how you can do those all in a second, but there is basically two main things that you need to know, and that's that everyone, no matter which way you find your prompts, you have to start at 1 through 3. You have to choose either 1, 2, or 3 to start at, and how you choose that is up to you, but there is a story, an overarching story that happens and kind of gives you your motive as to why you are doing this adventure in 1, 2, and 3. From there, there's different paths you can take, but everyone ends at the lost city, which is kind of the goal of what we are finding. We're finding a treasure. And this is also dependent on your story. So when you get to the lost city, there will be 3 options, and you can choose the prompt based on, if you don't care about the story, just pick what you want to read, or you can choose the prompt based on where you started. The lost city does have 3 different prompts to choose from that do correspond with the first 3 that you started with for a story end. The TBR does not have to be pirate themed. That is totally up to you. This year there are the mapped pathway, which is the classic way that I've done Scallywagathon in the past. There's a treasure hunt version, which is kind of a free-for-all. And then there's a fated destinations, which includes rolling some die to figure out how this is going to work out for you. If you want to see more of an example, I'm going to walk through each of these one by one, but we're going to start with the mapped path. So, as I said, this is a traditional way of doing Scallywagathon. You're going to start at a starting point. Everyone has to start. No matter what path you take, you have to start at prompt 1, 2, or 3. And this shapes the way that your story will unfold. From your starting point, let's say I'm going to start at 1. You're going to follow the line of the color of that circle out to find your next challenge. Most stops have 2 to 3 options leading out, and the challenges are listed beside the number on the reading prompts page. I've also put them beside here on the website for ease of access of just seeing what they are. So because I'm starting at 1, I need to follow the yellow arrows out. So this gives me 2 different options. I can either go to stop 4 or stop 5. I think I'm going to go to 5. It's looking a little chaotic there, but let's go there. So now that I have my first prompt, and now I have my second prompt. Now that I'm here, I'm going to follow the line of the color out of that circle to my next option. So here 5 is green, so I am going to either go to 7, it looks like 9, or 10. It is a little chaotic here, but let's see. I think let's go to 9. 9 looks good. All right, so this is my third prompt. After this, we have A to G, which are side quests. So following 9, we're going to follow the orange out to D or E. These are our side quests that we have to do. And let's just say I'm going to go to D. The thing with the side quests is that they all lead to the lost city. So this gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prompts at the end of this. And if that still doesn't make any sense, I've written it out so that you can see exactly. So these are 1 option goes to 4 and 5, 2 goes to 4, 5, and 8, and so on and so forth. And this is, of course, your first prompt to your second prompt to your third prompt, your fourth prompt, and then they all go to the lost city. Now let's look at the treasure hunt. Treasure hunt is kind of, like I said, a free-for-all. However, there are still some pirate codes you have to follow. As I said, everyone must start at 1 or 3, 1, 2, or 3. So everyone has to start at a starting location. After that, you should exclude 1 to 3 as options. And after that, you have to include at least 1 side quest, and you can do as many prompts as you want, but you should try to get at least 5 prompts. So you just have to start at 1, 2, or 3. Let's say I'm going to start at 3. And then after that, I'm like, oh, well, 7 looks like it has a cool prompt. And, 5 has a cool prompt. And A has a cool prompt. And, technically I have to go to the last city to end on. But you know what? Maybe I want to add some more. Maybe I'll also go to G, and maybe I'll also go to F, and maybe, it's kind of just a free-for-all, whatever works for you. And then for the fated destinations, you are going to need either a D6 or a D20, whatever you have at hand. So most people probably have a D6, but I have found that the D20 is a bit more forgiving in this case, of course, because there are just more chances. So how this works is, first, you need to understand what each roll means. So there is a failing roll, an adequate roll, and a success roll, kind of like D&D. How you're going to do this is you're going to look at your first 3 starting points. You're going to decide which prompt is your favorite, your least favorite, and your middle choice. So I'm going to make this easy. Let's say 1 is my favorite, 2 is my middle, and 3 is my least favorite to do. I'm then going to roll the dice. If I fail, I have to do the least favorite. If it's adequate, I do the middle. If it's success roll, I get to do my most favorite choice. You will continue from here. So after you get your starting point, let's say I rolled adequately. I'm going to start at 2. I'm going to pick 3 more numbered locations after this, just numbered for your first stop. So I like the prompt of 4, I like the prompt of 8, and I like the prompt of 11 for the most part. If you really want to challenge yourself, you could pick a prompt that you really don't like. So I really want to do 4. I'd feel okay doing 8, but God, I really don't want to do 9's prompt. So I'm going to roll. And hopefully I get a success and I get to do 4. Let's say I do. Yay! Amazing! Great! Oh no, that means that I'm probably not going to roll as great for the next one, right? So after that, you can pick either a numbered or letter location or a mix of for your next stop, essentially. It really is up to you. And then you're just going to repeat the process until, of course, you have had essentially all of your spots. The goal of course, is to have a starting location and then hit 1, 2, 3 spots, and you're going to enter the lost city. Speaking of, let's talk about what happens when you get to the lost city. So when you get to the lost city, you will see that there are 3 different prompts for you. You can choose one at random. You can roll the dice to figure out what you're going to do, or you can do the one that corresponds to your starting number, because that story wraps up the story that you started with at your starting number. So if, let's say you started your journey with prompt 2. Prompt 2 in the Lost City is the one that you would end with. Allie, what do you mean? There's a story? Yeah. So when you go to the reading prompts and story page, you will see there is a story listed with each location for you to follow along with. This is totally optional, totally for fun, however immersive you want to be. So how to interact with the story. You don't have to interact with the story. This is just an additional way. But you will either need dice rolls or decide if you're going to use star ratings. And I will explain how that works in a minute. But there is a fail, an adequate, and a success amount for each of those. And there is a chart here to show you how that works. So each starting location does have a story with it. This is the backstory as to why you are going on this adventure to the Lost City. We have one that is kind of a little bit for love, we have one that is for pride, and we have one that is for greed at the end of the day. What you're doing at these locations. So one of the easiest ones I'll use is there is Veilstone Monastery, essentially is not a location that you can normally get into, but you find out that there is a sharp-toothed pixie who is willing to go into the halls of the Veilstone Monastery to get what you need. The problem is, she doesn't really take payment in coin. So this is how you get to interact. Anything with this eyeball thing, icon thingy, whatever, is where you can interact if you want to. So learn what you paid the pixie. Again, this is based on if you roll the dice and you get a success roll, you give up a vial of your blood. If it's an adequate roll, a small section of your left ear. If it's a failed roll, it's your whole right pinky finger. And this can depend. You could do this after you read the book, and that this could be based on your rating. So if you rated something a 5-star that you read for this prompt, congratulations, it's a success. But if it's kind of a mid-book, well, this is going to happen. And if like it was a downright awful book or you DNF'd it, oh, well, there goes your pinky. There's also a whole lore page for each location if you are interested in the history of this world and each location, just to give a little background as to maybe why you are there or what you're doing there. But it is also in the story. This is just a little bit of extra. That is how to navigate the website. There will be events listed on here as well. So there are going to be tons of events. I am going to be doing a 24-hour reading sprint. And it's going to start on July 12th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the US, because that's where I'm at. I do reading sprints, other sprints throughout the month as well, but that is going to be the big one. And I am going to be reading The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi during that, and you're welcome to join me if you want. A lot of my community members are already talking about this and have seen a lot of my behind the scenes, so feel free to join the Discord. My Discord, if you want to be in on the chatter around Scallywagathon. I'm sure others in the community are going to be hosting sprints within the Discord as well throughout the month, so feel free to join that as well. But there will be plenty in store throughout the month. I'm hoping to vlog it and actually make a video for once. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Hopefully I've answered what I could. It seems a lot more complicated than it is. I'm hoping in the future that we can do more read-alongs and readathons with this and build upon this instead of me having to essentially recreate the readathon every single year. And so we'll just keep building upon it and create like a magical, fantastical world. Let's sail for the Lost City!